Hey there, guys, and welcome to a uh, special live stream here on a Saturday. Currently watching Xfinity qualifying. It goes down at Daytona. Got a Daytona race for Xfinity at 5 o'clock apparently this afternoon, weather permitting, and we're going to be having a watch party and everything with all that. But I wanted to get some stuff out of the way in regards to Duracell Cup Series, specifically the upcoming eighth season of the Duracell Cup Series. Now, I know that we are currently this weekend, I believe, at where are we at? The All Star break. So we are not even halfway through the current seventh season. But at the same time, I wanted to put these announcements out because as you guys are currently seeing the All Star race break here this weekend, I am currently in the process of recording into the playoffs. And so, since on my end, I'm getting closer towards the end of my season, I want there to be a smooth transition and not a super, super long off period between when Duracell Season 7 ends and Duracell Season 8 begins. So, taking this opportunity, since I'm way ahead of schedule in terms of recording and everything, taking the opportunity to get everything set up for season 8 here and now. I don't have to spend 1, 2 months painting cars, figuring out schedule, all that kind of stuff. So, getting some stuff out of the way here and letting you guys in on what is going down. So, first off, there have been two videos that I have put out, and they have been in regards to drivers that currently race full time in the Duracell Cup Series, if they are returning next season or not. A lot of people have gotten in touch with me either through the comments on YouTube or personally. They have told me that they are returning. That has been great. There have been a lot of drivers that have not gotten in touch with me that, in all honesty, have been some long time Duracell Cup Series drivers. And it's getting to the point here where some decisions are going to have to start being made, etc., etc. Now, of course, we have to wait in regards to who the Duracell Ultra Light Series champion is going to be. That driver, of course, ends up getting a guaranteed charter ride for next season. Now, I will end up knowing who that champion is months in advance before you guys are. I think as of right now, I've recorded up to playoff race number 2 at Chatham Dirt. And as I remember, I think that video is going to be going live in June. So we're talking 4.5 months right now in advance that I have recorded. And with what would that be? Another 8 races, I think. That's talking about another 2 months. So we're looking at more than likely August when season 8, September probably when season 8 will begin. I know this is way in advance, but again, I like to be ahead of the game and everything because you don't know what's going to be coming around the corner. You don't know what's going to be happening 3, 4, 5 months from now. So, if I have this stuff all lined up, all scheduled, all ready to go, then if something happens on my end where I'm not able to dedicate time to be able to record and edit races, they're going to be still there each weekend for you guys to be able to enjoy. So, let me get a couple of the announcements out of the way first, but first, I just want to continue to touch on the fact that this is going to be the last opportunity. I am going to set a specific date as to when the deadline is to be able to claim that you are returning or you are not. If you miss the boat, there is another opportunity to be able to be in another series. Wouldn't be necessarily in Duracell, and the rides that you didn't claim will fall vacant to those that wish to sign up for it. And of course, our Duracell Ultralight Series champion. Anthony Alfredo looking pretty fast right now in the 5 car. He's at the top of the board. So let's get first to the announcement. So the announcement is there's two announcements. We'll get to the first one here. That's kind of a not as important announcement, I guess we could say, and that is the fact that the Duracell Ultralight series is going to be moving from the Gen 6 cars, the BR15 Gen 6 cars, the Archetype cars, to the Xfinity mod next year. I have not yet 100% arrived on whether it is going to be the NXS 16 mod or if it is going to be the NXS 20 mod. I'm leaning more towards the NXS 20 mod, but that is not 100%, but it will be an Xfinity type mod. It will not be old Cup cars, so that will be something. There also, I will show you in a minute, is an opportunity to start maybe formulating some teams and organizations for that upcoming series, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the Duracell Cup Series for Season 8 because you're looking at it, we're going to have a wing on the back of these Duracell Cup Series cars. That's right, we are running the 2023 Repco Supercars type body that is made for the NCS 2022 mod, and I will go into here and you can see some preview of some of the cars that you will see on track for next season, and this is in regards to drivers that have told me that they are returning next season, etc. So Dylan Young, you see his Night Owl Ford Dark Horse Mustang. That's another thing that's going to be different. The Chevrolet Camaros will remain the same. The Fords will be moving over to the Dark Horse Ford Mustangs. There's an example of the Cole Deaver Chevrolet Camaro with the wing on the back and everything. Kyler Sustry as well. New look for him with his Yamaha Mobile One Chevrolet. We'll be talking about charters here in just a minute as well, since he is a non-charter driver this season, searching for a charter in Season 8. But here's another look at another new thing. The Toyotas are going to be Camrys, but they're going to be the 2024 Toyota Camry XSEs, which you see showcased right here with Reggie Fogelman, who's going to be moving over to Haas Racing full time in Season 8 in the number 5. There is his Hyper Ice car, and there is his Taco Bell car. Really, really cool. I love the way that it looks on the generic template, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the new Toyotas will look like. There's a look at Matt Haas, the familiar endurance karting colors that we've seen here in Season 7 on the 2024 Toyota Camry XSE. Uh, we'll just like cycle through. You ended up seeing me painting this one on a live stream not too long ago. Charles Sampras Reese's car. Kyle Matthews going to bring the Kings Island car back, but he's going to have the Beast featured on the front of it there. Will Goss back with Young Motorsports for a second full-time season in the Pringles machine. Carson Gum did a little bit of editing on this car, made the number a little bit shinier, a little bit more chrome looking for that car. And then his Fastenal car coming back, but looking like the 2024 Fastenal scheme that Chris Buescher currently runs for Roush Keselowski Racing. Or Rush Fenwick Keselowski Racing, I guess you would say. Matt McIntyre's Pepsi scheme revealed there. His Mac Tools car. Michael Norman rather, with the Pizza Hut mobile. Nathan Ormond back with Michael Norman Motorsports, the Xbox car. New Hertz look for Benjamin Miles in the 25, and then his familiar blue, gold, and white Napa Chevrolet. Daniel Boyle's different look there for his double stuffed Oreos Mustang, Dark Horse Mustang. Joshua Osborne bringing on different sponsorship for Season 8 with Walmart for Jan Atwood Motorsports. There's the former champion Caleb Fogler in the Busch Gardens car. There will be a Bible Broadcasting Network car as well, but I am currently trying to figure out a good design for that. Dylan Poteet with the Mountain Dew car. He'll have some other ones as well. Nick Gunther with a new look on his number 55, the Celebrating 500 Subscribers car. Pops a little bit better. I think it pops a little bit more than the black base. I like the white base, how it makes the car kind of stand out. Of course, there was the announcement that Nick Gunther, as well as Anthony McCurry, they're splitting away from Fortnite Squad Racing. They're going to be in the Gunther Motorsports rebrand with Technical Alliance with Fortnite Squad Racing at Garage 55. So you see Garage 55 listed there in the team name. Autumn Brooks and Ralph Mason going to be driving the non-charter number 60 for a number of races. Non-charter for the moment. May end up being a chartered ride by the time we get to Season 8. Depends on something I'll be showing you guys in just a minute. Anthony McCurry back with the Celsius colors in the 61 with all the Mazdas. James Qualls still with Castro DTX, but a different look than what he's got currently in Season 7. Laura Chung and Auto Junction Racing moving over to their Toyotas, the Toyota Camry XSEs 2024. There's the Yahoo scheme that she's going to have. Zachary Fitzwater is moving over to the 83. That'll be a Blue Oval Automotive. I'll explain why in just a moment. Ryan Brommer back in the 87 for Auto Junction Racing. Connor Breton with the Interstate Batteries Vitamin Water Chevrolet. Quentin Moore back in the Buckies, number 89. And then RJ Bishop in the 98 with the Monster Energy sponsorship, the Kroger Kraft Mac and Cheese sponsorship, and Advent Health sponsorship on his 98 car. Oh, thank you. So you see these cars here. There's some that are also confirmed that are coming back, and I just haven't gotten to painting those paint schemes and whatnot. But let's get to the next announcement, and that is I posted this in the Discord, the NSRA Discord. If you guys are not a part of that Discord, this is kind of why I've put this video out, so that way you on YouTube are able to see it as well. We don't have a dedicated, necessarily really dedicated uh, Facebook group because I don't really post a whole lot of stuff over there. It's just basically like a Enter 2003 community page for the most part. But oh, Frankie Muniz is on track right now. Um, but I did post this particular link over on the Discord under the Duracell Cup Series Silly Season tab, and I will bring it up right here. So this is a Google sheet that is showing the current roster, potential roster for next season in season 8. We've got the driver, the team that they'd be driving for, potential sponsors, the manufacturer that they're in, featuring the Mustang Dark Horse and the Toyota Camry XSE, as well as their charter status for next season. And then also a little bit of news here regarding when people got in contact with me that they were returning, etc., or drivers that have not yet gotten in touch that they are returning for next season. So let's talk about two things. Number one, drivers returning, not returning. Some big ones that have not gotten in touch on the two. I've put out two so far, and this is probably going to be the last one. This stream is probably going to be the last opportunity. As I said, I'm going to have a set date in my head when they miss the deadline of telling me they're returning or not. Then their ride is being replaced because I'm trying to get everything lined up for season 8. So some of the drivers that have not gotten in touch with me that they are returning would include Destin Boland, who of course was a 3-time winner back in season 6. Been doing pretty consistent so far in season 7. Also not getting in touch with me is Mitchell Collins out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Mitchell Collins has been with Michael Norman Motorsports now. I think this is his second season with the organization. Uh, oh no, it's his first season with the organization because season 5 he was in the 17 for Joanne Atwood Motorsports, and then previously before that he was with Young Motorsports. But he's not gotten in contact with me that he's returning. So this stream is the last opportunity if you see it to be able to say that you're returning, Mitchell. Same for Jose Mills. How about that? The most winningest driver currently in the Duracell Cup Series. He has not gotten in contact whether he's returning or not. Also, not received any word from any of this current season's roster from Lake Effect Autosport. That would include Reese Banks, Casey Hoyt, and team owner Jesse Turner. So unless I hear from them, might be an entirely different look over there at Lake Effect Autosport. I would more than likely have the storyline be that Jesse Turner, since he's the team owner, would be stepping into a managerial role for the organization rather than driving, but could still hear from any of these three drivers in the next whatever my deadline is. I'm not gonna say what the deadline actually is that I have in my head. Also, no word from Ryan Butcher. That's another big one because he is the owner of Auto Junction Racing, and I've heard nothing from Ryan Butcher at all on whether he's returning. His other two teammates have announced they're returning, Laura Chung and Ryan Bromers, so Auto Junction Racing's organization would remain open, but if we don't hear from Ryan Butcher, his ride would end up falling vacant, somebody would end up filling that ride, and Ryan Butcher, much like Jesse Turner, would fall into a managerial role as team owner. And again, as I said too, if they end up getting past this deadline where they don't get in touch with me and I end up having to replace them with those rides, they would be eligible to still be able to sign up for a ride over in the Duracell Ultralight Series, the second season with the Xfinity cars. Last but not least, the other driver that has not gotten in contact with me that he is returning would be Levi McIntyre, the single car entry at Shadow Cult Racing. Have not heard anything from him. So that throws into question then the next thing, which is charters, because there are a bunch of different drivers that will be necessarily in need of a charter next season. Let's talk about the drivers that currently fit into that category. Kyler Sustre, obviously this season without a charter, trying to run the full season He would be heading into season 8 in need of a charter. Reggie Fogelman, he is leaving Northeast Motorsports and he is going over to Haas Racing. Now, Northeast Motorsports in the 24 team, they actually own the charter. Natalie Decker 10th. Oh, she might make it into the field. They own the charter. So with Fogum making the decision to go over to Haas Racing, he doesn't take the charter with him. So his status currently sits as a non-charter driver. I already mentioned when we showed the different paint schemes and whatnot. The Autumn Brooks, Ralph Mason, whatever other drivers. Garage 55 decides to put in behind the wheel of the 60. They right now are in a no charter scenario. Also in a no charter scenario would be the number 82 out of Blue Oval Automotive. That is, again, provided that Blue Oval Automotive decides to run the 82. They've attempted a couple of races so far here this season. They've got currently a roster for this entire season of Jordan Lopez, Trey Wright, Nico Servideo. I think there was another driver that either has or is going to be attempting to make a qualifying run in that ride, but they're on a part-time schedule anyway in that fourth entry. Uncertain if even that ride's going to be coming back next season for the organization, or if they will just dwindle to a three-car team, since we don't even know if Jose Mills at this point of this stream is returning for next season. So that is currently a non-charter entry, since it was and is here in the current season 7. So another storyline as well is that Zachary Fitzwater, as we showed, is moving over to the 83 at Blue Oval Automotive. Why is that? Well, the main reason being, more than likely at the end of season 7, and this is announced in quite a few of the latter regular season broadcasts that you'll be seeing for season 7 Duracell Cup, is the organization is going to be more than likely folding up. Evans Motorsports was Evans Gardner Motorsports, then became Evans Motorsports at the beginning of the season. Of course, there was some controversy where Zach Rogers had to step in as the driver of the 6. Well, have heard nothing in regards from Rob Evans or Zach Rogers. Zach Rogers was kind of a last-minute replacement after he finished second with 2 wins in the showcase races back in season 6. So, with that being said, it is very likely that team is going to fold and is going to close. Now, Zachary Fitzwater, again, since he moved over to Blue Oval Automotive, he did not take his charter with him. Same deal like Reggie Fogelman going to Haas Racing. However, the 83 that is driven this season by Chris Dollerton is a chartered ride. So Fitzwater moves from a chartered ride to a chartered ride. He doesn't have to worry because it's not a newly established team or a newly established ride out of an organization. The 83, well, there's my Windows security telling me something. The 83 is already an established ride, an established chartered ride with Chris Dollerton here in season 7. So Fitzwater would step into that role and take that charter into season 8. That means that the 66, the 65, and the 6, which are all chartered rides here in season 7. Whoa, Daniel Dye just ran over something on the track. But that means that those 3 cars, which are all chartered rides, since that organization is folding, those 3 charters would end up being on the table and available to teams that might need them. So that's 3 charters right there that would potentially be up for grabs. You also see some others that have a for sale question mark on them, including the 12 out of Young Motorsports. Would Young Motorsports look to put a driver in the seat of Destin Bolin, or would they look to downsize to a 3-car team and sell their charter? Northeast Motorsports with Reggie Fogelman stepping out of the 24 going over to the 5 with Haas Racing. Would they downsize to a 3-car team and sell one of their charters, or would they put somebody behind the wheel? That's why the question mark is there on the for sale. Lake Effect Autosport, we've already talked about the fact that we haven't heard anything in regards from Reese Banks, Casey, or Jesse Turner. Now, there has been the announcement made that that team is not folding. That team is not folding up. They are potentially going to have, as you see, the 45, the 46, and the 47. Rebranding the 44 to the 45 and rebranding the 74 to the 46 to have the in order numbers of 45, 46, and 47. Of course, you have to have the 47 there because that is the basically the mainstay number for Jesse Turner, the team owner. But the for sale question mark is there, like, yeah, just in case. But more than likely, there will not be those three charters for sale. You've got also the whole question mark about Ryan Butcher. Would the 78 charter be for sale? More than likely not. More than likely to be another driver that would step behind the wheel of the 78. And then, of course, you've got the charter entry out of Shadow Cult Racing with Levi McIntyre. If he's not returning and that team folds up, that charter could potentially be on the table. So right now, realistically, you're looking at four charters that would possibly be up for grabs for the start of season 8. Um, I haven't yet arrived at how it would be determined who would end up getting these charters, etc., that would be looking for them. Still have to come up with that. But that is something that is kind of in the wind. And we also, again, have to remember that there is a driver that will eventually win the Duracell Ultra Light Series championship that will move up to the Cup Series, and they will be in a chartered ride. Now, obviously, they wouldn't be driving, I wouldn't think, for Shadow Cult Racing or for Evans Motorsports, but you look at some of these particular teams, these particular cars, where big name drivers are at this point not yet announced that they are returning. You could see them slot into the 33 for Michael Norman Motorsports, the 12 for Young Motorsports, the 38 for Blue Oval Automotive, the 78 for Auto Junction Racing. That could be a landing spot for one of those drivers. So that is something that we have to bear in mind as well, and obviously have to wait until we get to the end of the season for that. I will state this. I am going to continue to try to update this list as best as possible. And again, you guys have access to be able to view this whenever you want over in the NSRA Discord in the Silly Season tab. Um, but I will, when I end up eventually recording the end of the season, I will end up putting a slot on here. Depending on who ends up winning the championship, I'll try and look at like what would make most sense as far as I guess a manufacturer standpoint, past history, what have you. But I will put um, a area where I will say Duracell Ultra Light Series champion. I won't say who it is because obviously I don't want to spoil it or anything. But I will put that on this list when it is established who and where that Duracell Ultra Light Series champion is going to end up going, so that we have a clearer picture as well of what chartered rides and what charters would be on the table. Also, as I stated, with the Duracell Ultra Lights having its second season, we will start to formulate teams and whatnot for that. We won't necessarily have science, but we'll start to formulate teams and everything for that particular series. So there is a Duracell Ultra Light Series tab here as well. Nothing has been put into it yet, but excuse me, as I start getting information and whatnot about teams that are building up and whatnot and having rides open and available and all that, then that information will be put on this particular tab within the next few months. So that will also be available there. I considered maybe doing a truck series also, but with the fact that you're seeing right here that we're having difficulty with even filling in a 42 car field for next season of drivers saying that they're wanting to return and everything. Obviously, we're going to be bringing in new drivers and whatnot, but that kind of, I've said this before, it's a sad fact, but it really is the truth. There are some out there that are able to keep it going, but I feel like for myself and a bunch of, I have to say, my generation of Enter 2003 offline broadcasters, I feel like the community has dwindled. Used to be, we've reminisced about this, used to be back in the day, you could fill in signups for a 42 car field for 3 different series in the span of about half an hour. Now, it takes about 4 or 5 times that much time to fill in just a 42 car field for one series. And sometimes it can take you into the next 1 or 2 days after you've posted the sign up video. So, with that being said, I'm not going to do a truck series. I'm not going to do a third series. We're going to keep it as just the 2 series. Even if we don't end up getting a full field for the light series, that's fine. We'll end up doing kind of like what we've been doing here with the Duracell Ultra Light series, where we only have a 20 car field at this point in time. So, that's half a field. That's fine. If we have a small field for lights, we have a small field for lights. It's perfectly fine. But that is the updates, the announcements of what is going down in preparation for season 8. Again, as I stated, you can always view this list if you so choose to see what's going on. I, over in the news section, have the date and everything if something takes place in regards to a driver being in a ride for next season. The charter system and everything, we will get to what available charters are out there a little bit further on down the road. And then, of course, the organization of teams for the light series and everything that can be started working on, even as soon as now. I'm very easy to get a hold of, whether it be through Facebook, through Discord, all that kind of stuff. So there are ways to get in contact with me to set stuff up, etc., etc., etc. But thanks, guys, for tuning in to this live stream with all of these updates. I know it's a lot to process and all that, and I know that maybe it doesn't make much sense to be doing this so far in advance. I mean, we're literally talking about August, beginning of September, before season 7 even comes to a close. But again, it's where I've got the time now, take the opportunity to be able to work on the stuff while I have the time, because it is kind of difficult balancing real life with this stuff. So, take the opportunity while the opportunity is there. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. If you got any questions of what's going down here in this stream and you need further clarification, you can ask down in the comments below. I'll check. I'll answer your questions. And I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the All-Star Race weekend that's taking place for Duracell this week at the Atlanta Superspeedway. The Atlanta Superspeedway. It's the only time that you guys will see me do an Atlanta Superspeedway offline races for a non-points event. But then we begin the chase for the championship the following week. So thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys later. Looking forward to the rest of Daytona here as well. Xfinity qualifying going on, Xfinity race tonight, and then probably the Cup race on Monday, but that's okay. But anyway, take care, guys.